Hi, and welcome to your Hatha Yoga practice. My name is Laura. Thank you for joining me today on your mat. I invite you to go ahead and grab your yoga mat if you haven't already, and two blocks if you can, and perhaps even a blanket. And I love using a blanket, especially if you feel like you want that extra cushion underneath the knees or additional just love and comfort in our Shavasana. And so today I invite you to start your practice any way that feels good for you. So perhaps you're in a seat with me, sitting up onto a block, or maybe you're laying down flat onto your back, allowing the shoulders to come in, hearts lifted. Or perhaps you want to start in more of a constructive rest today, planting the feet into the ground and having the knees draped toward one another. And so wherever you are, can you just get a little bit more comfortable in the body as we begin to close down the eyes if it feels good in the body and settle into our space. And our practice is all about feeling good today wherever we are. So just take a moment and begin to let the body sink into stillness. However you arrived on these four corners of your mat does not matter. The last hour leading up to practice, the last couple of minutes, and whatever you have going on after practice, none of that matters. As you breathe in, allow the belly to rise, to fill up and expand. And as you breathe out, allow the belly to empty, to start to contract towards the back of the spine. So right away, we're taking these full expansive breaths into the belly and these full expressions of breath out, releasing belly to the back of the spine. Just follow the breath a couple more times, just as you are inhaling, belly fills up, belly expands. Exhaling, belly empties, belly contracts towards the back of the spine. Yoga as it is. Yoga is not something to perfect, not a posture to master, nor a rhythm to follow. It is a quiet remembering of what is within, a gentle listening, a pause in the movement of life. Beyond the form, beyond the breath, yoga is presence, being with what is, without judgment, without rush. It invites you to feel, to soften, to stay in stillness or in motion, in silence or in sound. Yoga reveals itself not as something you do, but as something you are. This is yoga, as it is. No more, no less. And if it feels good in your practice, you may go ahead and set your intention for practice today. And if you're in a seated position, go ahead and lay back down onto the back. Let's plant the feet into the earth. Have your feet about hip width distanced and parallel. And the spine and the pelvis and the hips just simply resting. So not doing, not efforting. Maybe the hands stay down by the sides of the body, or maybe it feels good if you invite them to the low abdomen area. We've all got these hip flexors, so if you dig a little bit here, you'll find those bony points. Maybe the hands rest there. On your inhale, slowly begin to draw your pubic bone toward your nose. So you're flattening your back against the mat. On the exhale, tilt the tailbone in the opposite direction. So now we're creating a little bit of space between the back and the floor. Good. Inhaling here, drawing your pubic bone towards your nose. And on the exhale, let's tilt the tailbone in the opposite direction. Good. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, drawing the pubic bone towards the nose. And exhale, tilting the tailbone. Inhaling once again, drawing the pubic bone towards the nose. And on the exhale, we tilt the tailbone. On your next inhale, just come back to what feels neutral for you, meaning you're not efforting, you're not working too hard. And remembering today in practice that you get to decide how much or how little you do. And the goal is always to feel good within the body. So when you're ready, hug the right knee now into the chest. Maybe you interlace the fingers and you place them around the shin or around that area. Perhaps we draw the right knee a little bit more towards the right side of the chest. You can stay as you are, or maybe you start to caterpillar crawl those left toes until you straighten out that left side of the body, the left leg. Flexing now the feet. Let's rotate maybe through the right ankle. And then maybe you rotate the ankle in the opposite direction. Finding some stillness here, checking in that you're breathing, not holding the breath. One more full round of breath. If you've got your left leg long, let's bend the left knee once again, planting the left foot into the ground. Releasing the tops of the shins around that area and extend now your right leg up to the sky. We're going to grab the back of the thigh here, the back of the hamstrings. You can interlace the fingers here. You can also grab your yoga strap if you've got one handy and start to, now noticing here that I don't have quite a straight leg. I have a little bit of a bend through the knee. You're more than welcome to straighten it out or have a little bit of a micro bend here like myself. We're going to begin that pressing the back of the hands or the hands into the hamstrings into the hands. So you're creating just a little bit of work here as we lengthen through the right side of the body. Maybe you point and flex the right toes. Maybe it feels good to rotate once again through the right ankle joint, rotating in both directions. And maybe now we find and invite in this stillness through the body. You can keep this left foot planted into the ground, or you can go back to lengthening it along the mat, doing what feels good in your body. And noticing how you feel here, can you connect back to the breath? We're going to take about 4 or 5 deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. If the left leg is long, go back to bending at the knee. Taking our right foot, flex it and place it just above the left knee. Manually start to press the right knee away from you. So we're aiming here to open up through the right hip. Now, lots of different options depending on how body is feeling today in practice. Maybe we stay as we are with the hand just pressing the top of the thigh away, top of the knee away. You'll feel that in through, hopefully through the right hip. Or maybe you want to grab the back of the left thigh. So reaching through that keyhole you've created. Maybe we're moving now into this figure four-like position. Lots of action is happening. The left leg is flexed. Toes are flexed, the right toes are flexed, but at the same time, we're pressing this right knee away from us. Now, shoulders come in, the heart is lifted. Maybe you stay as you are, or maybe you move more into a reclined pigeon-like shape with the body by extending the left leg up towards the sky. So again, the goal is to feel good here. So choosing what option that feels good within your body, and then maybe you close down the eyes. Maybe the gaze is soft. Finding your breath once again. We'll take about 4 more breaths here, wherever you've landed. Beautiful. One last breath here. And slowly release. Let's uncross the legs, and maybe for a moment we just lengthen the legs out, noticing how the right side of the body feels compared to the left side. Bending back at the knees, planting the feet now into the ground. Let's go ahead now and hug the left knee into the chest. Shoulders come in, hearts lifted. Let's draw the left knee even closer towards the left side of the chest. The right foot can stay planted, or you can start to caterpillar crawl the toes a little bit. Moving at your pace. Maybe you start to lengthen the right side of the body here. And let's start to rotate through the left ankle. Rotating now in the opposite direction if you haven't already switched. And finding some stillness here as we hug the left knee even closer toward us. Knowing at any point if the right leg is long, at any point you can go back to bending at the knee. And if you've got your right leg lengthened, go ahead and bend at the knee. And releasing the shin or around that area, let's start to lengthen the left leg now up towards the sky. We'll grab the back of the thigh here, the back of the hamstrings. You're more than welcome to use a strap here to draw it in even closer toward you. And now maybe you start to point and flex the toes, pressing the hands into the leg into the hands. Lots of work here. Maybe you rotate through the ankle joint in both directions. You can decide how much of a bend through the knee you've got. You can bend a little bit more if that's what body needs today in practice. You can lengthen it out. You can also lengthen out the right side of the body here. We'll stay here for about 2-3 more breaths. Keep having that action of pressing the hands into the leg into the hands. The left side might shake a little bit. That's normal. And if you've got the right leg long, go ahead and bend the right knee, planting the foot back into the ground. Let's release the back of the left thigh, flexing the left foot, place it just above the right knee, and manually start to press the knee away from you. Good. We know all 3 of our options here. We can stay here as we are, or we can reach through that keyhole we've created, grabbing the back of the right thigh, coming into more of a figure 4-like position. Or you can lengthen the right leg all the way up towards the sky, coming into your reclined pigeon pose. So whatever feels good in your body, remember that's the whole purpose. Not where you think you need to go, but where body is telling you to settle into, to stay. And let's slowly release. Taking all the time you need to lengthen out now both sides of the body, lengthening out both legs, taking a little rest here, noticing right side and left side. On your inhale, reach the arms above your head. Let's do a full body stretch, just like you maybe do when you wake up in the morning. And on the exhale, let's bring both of the knees now into the chest. Gently rock side to side, massaging out the pelvis, the back of the hips, the spine. Good. And maybe you start to circle here with the knees closed in one direction, or maybe you circle with the knees open here. Whatever feels good in your body. And then circle the other way. Preparing to come all the way up onto our hands and knees. Let's roll over to your favorite side of the body. You can take as much time as you need here, knowing that there is no rush to get up and practice. We'll get there eventually. And as you're ready, we'll come all the way up into our tabletop-like position. Now, I always like to have my blocks nearby so I don't have to look for them later on in practice. So maybe you have one or both on the outside of the mat. And let's come forward to our hands and our knees. Again, you've got your blanket here if you need to add a little bit of support and love to underneath the knees. You're more than welcome to do that. Maybe for some of us, we walk the hands forward just slightly. On an inhale, let's slowly lower the belly towards the earth. Look up and see if you can start to soften through the collarbone. On the exhale, round, press the earth away from you. Tuck your chin towards your chest. And remember, you get to control how much, how far, how little you go here in practice. Inhaling forward, lowering the belly towards the earth, looking up, softening through the heart. Exhaling and rounding, pressing the earth away from you. Good. We'll move through our cat-cow a couple more rounds. Following your own breath rhythm. Good. Slowly finishing off this last round. Let's come back to a neutral spine, meaning you're not having to work too hard here. And spread the fingertips wide. Good. Curl the toes under and send your hips high, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out, walking your dog here a little bit. Maybe you bend one knee and straighten out the other leg. Maybe you bend both knees. Maybe you're more shimmying side to side, just kind of figuring it out, seeing how we feel in our first downward dog of practice. There's no right or wrong way to be in your downward dog. Maybe you're releasing through the hips a little bit. Good. Now, you can stay here in your downward dog, but this can also be done through our tabletop-like position. So if at any point you need to lower the knees down, you've got my permission to do just that. All right. And if you're not sure, that's okay. Sometimes trying one versus the other before we get into it. So we're going to shift our weight. If you're in your downward dog, shift your weight to the left heel. Inhale the right leg up, bend the right knee, and reach over to the left. Lift both head of the arm bones a little bit higher as we open up through the right hip. Grounding and shifting the weight into the left heel a little bit more. Good. Take another full breath in. Good. Full breath out. Inhale, straighten the right leg long behind you. On the exhale, let's round the knee towards the nose and pause. Inhaling, sending the right leg long behind you. On the exhale, round the knee towards the nose, and then we'll slowly step it forward, help it forward, chuck it forward, and then lower the left knee down. drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. Let's untuck the left toes and inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Depending on how body is feeling, the arms can stay lifted here, or maybe it feels better today if you have the hands together at the heart. There's no wrong way here once again. And then continue the action of drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. Inhaling, finding length through the spine, and on the exhale, grounding down through the pelvis, through the legs. Taking a few more breaths here, in and out through the nose. And slowly release the hands, bring them down onto the ground and point the left toes towards the side of the mat. So we're opening up now a little bit through. So the left toes are pointing now over to the right side of the room. And here's where we're going to rise all the way back up. So we're in this version of a warrior two-like position. Let the front knee track over the second or the third toe. Arms equally parallel. Maybe one arm likes to fly higher than the other. See if both of them are lengthened. And again, you always have this option of bringing the hands to the heart or even onto the hips. Creating a little bit of movement here. Let's inhale, bend into the right knee. On the exhale, come back to center. Inhaling, bending into the knee. See how that feels in body. Exhale, return to center. One more time. Inhale and bend. Good. Exhale, return to center. Wherever you are, take a couple more breaths in and out through the nose. Arms parallel or hands at the heart or hands on hips. Finding length through the spine, crown of the head points up. Beautiful. From here, take the left hand down. You can use the block, your fist or your hand. Right arm extends up to the sky. Let's shift the the right toes a little bit. So now the side of the foot is parallel to the top of the mat. Right arm reaches and extends all the way up to the sky, or maybe you reach it over the ear to stretch as you wrap the left side of the body under, the right side opens, and of course, there's always room to bring the hand at the hip here. Breathing in wherever you've landed. We'll take about 5 more breaths. Breathing out. You can always change to the gaze of the neck. Maybe you're not looking up to the sky, but you're looking more towards the side of the wall or the floor. Beautiful. Take another breath in. And on the exhale, slowly bring the right hand down. We'll walk the hands now all the way towards the top of the mat. Point all 10 toes forward. Good. Let's curl the left toes under. Lift the left leg and step back to your downward facing dog. Noticing now the right side compared to the left side. Breathing in and out here through the nose for 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Remembering that you can come down to your hands and knees at any point. Shifting the weight now to the right side of the body, the right heel. Inhale your left leg up. Bend your left knee and reach over to the right side of the room. Lift the right armpit a little higher as you open up the left hip. And again, from a tabletop-like position, you can lower the right knee down as you open up your hip. Take another 2 breaths wherever you've landed. And understanding that we're not symmetrical beings, so one side of the body will be different than the other. Inhaling the left leg long behind you. On the exhale, draw the knee to the nose and pause. Good. Inhaling back up to the sky. Exhaling, knee to nose, pause for a breath. and then chuck it forward, step it forward, help it forward. Lower the right knee down to the mat. Maybe you untuck the toes. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward. When you're ready, slowly begin to lift the upper body. Maybe the hands stay resting on the hips or the tops of the thighs. Maybe you bring the hands together at the heart center. Or maybe you feel like on this side of the body, you explore something different that's going to make you feel good in your body by lengthening the arms all the way up. Breathing in and out here. You're doing amazing no matter where you are. And slowly release the hands down to the mat. We'll point now the right toes so that they're facing towards the side of the mat. When you're ready, inhale and rise up. The left knee now tracks over the second or the third toe, and give yourself room if you need to through the pelvis and the hips. Maybe you shorten the stance a little bit here. Maybe you need to make it a little bit longer. Feel free to add the comfort of the blanket underneath the knees. Arms can be parallel, not one arm flying higher than the other. Hands can be on the hips or at the heart. Inhale, bend into the left knee, sink in. On the exhale, let's release and come back to center, creating this mobility and this fluidity through the left side. Inhale, bend. Good. Exhale, unstraighten. One last time. Inhale to bend and exhale, come back to center. Wherever you are, maybe the gaze is over the front fingers. Maybe it's to center or neutral. Breathing in and out through the nose. Remembering that you can release the arms anytime you need to. No right or wrong with the arms, even here. It doesn't have to feel the same on both sides of the body. Wonderful. We'll slowly start to shift that left leg a little bit as we extend the right hand down to the block or on the fist. The left foot is, the side of the foot will be more parallel now to the top of the mat. As you inhale and reach the left fingertips up towards the sky, maybe they rest still on the hip here, or maybe you reach and extend them over your ear. Wherever you are, find the rhythm of the breath, deepening in and out. Good. So good. Last breath. Beautiful. Slowly bring the left hand all the way down. Walk the hands forward. Point all 10 toes towards the back of the mat. Curl the left toes under, lift the left leg, and find your downward facing dog. Noticing now both sides of the body. Bending at your knees, let's take our gaze forward and start to walk towards our hands, coming into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Imagine that you are like this ragdoll. So we will rise up one vertebrae at a time. So when you're ready, slowly let the arms be heavy. Rise up vertebrae by vertebrae. And allowing your head and neck to come up last here. Nicely done. Good job, everybody. All right, from here, bring the hands to the hips. Let's widen our stance. And step the right leg back. And you want to make sure that it's this easy flowing stepping of the foot back and forward, that it doesn't feel like it's strenuous. So maybe you take a narrower stance or a longer stance. So once you've arrived here, back foot is about 45 degrees, but it's dependent on the body here. You're more than welcome to widen the stance a little bit more. Bend through the front knee and then draw the left hip back so the right hip can come forward. Lift the back thigh. Pelvis and hips, they automatically know what to do. Inhale and reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. Virabhadrasana 1, your warrior 1-like position. And again, reminding yourself that the hands are more than welcome to come to the heart or onto the hips as well. We're staying here for several rounds of breath. Last breath. And exhale, bring the hands to the hips, bend the right knee and step forward. Maybe you go ahead and you shake out the legs a little bit. Just shifting so you can see both sides of the body now. When you're ready now, we'll go ahead and step the left leg back at your heel to heel stance. And again, reminding yourself that sometimes less is more, and we're honing in on how we're feeling. If we're feeling sore through the body, maybe we start to shorten the stance. The goal here is to feel good. So when you're ready, find what feels good, bend through the right knee and draw the right hip back. Maybe now you're like, you know what? I need to widen my stance. Go for it. Widen the stance a little bit. As you're ready, find what feels good with the arms. Maybe they're up to the sky. Maybe they're at the heart center. Maybe they're on the hips. Breathing in and out once again through the nose. And bringing the hands to the hips and stepping forward, shaking out your legs. If you've got a drink nearby and you need a sip of water, feel free to take a sip of water here. Beautiful. Finding the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And on your exhale, let's do a gentle forward fold here. And inhaling, halfway lift, sides of the body long. On the exhale, forward fold and step back to your downward facing dog. So maybe you take multiple steps back. Maybe you take one lunge back and find yourself there. Now, also on our hands and our knees is also okay as well. Just challenging ourselves just a little bit here. Shift the weight to the left heel. Inhale the right leg up. On the exhale, let's step it through, help it through, chalk it through. Tap down the left heel so you've come to a heel to arch stance. Inhale and windmill the arms up. Now, once we arrive here, you get to decide, you know what, I need to shorten my stance or I need to change it a little bit. That's okay too. Let the front knee track over the second to the third toe. The left thigh comes in, back and apart. And guess what? Pelvis and hips, they already are doing its thing. They know what to do here. Reaching and extending through all 10 fingers. Now, if at any point you need to come back to our first version with the knee down, this is amazing. You can come here too. Finding the breath. Good. Take another 2 more breaths wherever you are. Good. Take the right forearm to the right thigh, left hand to the hip. Use this as leverage to wrap the right side of the body under, but press the outer edge of the left foot into the mat a little bit more. So we're not shifting all the weight into the front leg, but you're using your back leg here as well. It's nice and strong. You can keep the left hand to the hip, or you can reach the left fingertips up to the sky. If an extended side angle is in your practice today, you're more than welcome to take the block down and reach the hand down to the block. or the floor, whatever feels good. Remembering this is your practice. It's not a must-have. Good. Take another 2 more breaths. You're doing amazing today. Inhale nice and slow. Let's rise up to center. On the exhale, go ahead and slide the left forearm parallel to the back body. So we want to just resting just above the pelvis and the hips. Good. Reverse the front palm, so let it face up towards the sky and gently begin to curl back, open up the heart. We don't want to lose the position of the legs and cave into the back body. That's why we've got this support behind us this morning. Resting. Good. Nothing changes either with the low body. You don't straighten out the front leg. You don't lose that bend. Sometimes less is more in a back bend. Maybe you stay as you are, or maybe now that we've established the pose, you slide the left hand down the back of the thigh as you find 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale, return to center. Good. Take the hands to the hips. Let's straighten out the right leg. Point all 10 toes to the center of the mat. You can go as wide as you would like to here. Good. And let's have the toes pigeoned inward just slightly. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Take a full breath in, find length. On the exhale, lower about halfway. Take another breath in. And on the exhale, let's lower all the way. Hands come down to the block, the floor. Maybe you have a little bend in the knees. Enjoying this wide-legged forward fold. Maybe you have a little bit of stillness or a little bit of movement here. Maybe you shake out a gentle no and yes through the head, through the neck. From here, come back up onto the hands, the fingertips. Let's walk the hands towards the top of the mat, pointing all 10 of your toes forward and step back to your downward facing dog. Once again, you can pedal it out a little bit here. We'll take this now to the other side of the body. So shifting the weight to the right foot, inhale the left leg up. On the exhale, let's step it through or help it through. Tap down the right heel, inhale and windmill the arms all the way up. Maybe as you arrive here, you straighten out the front leg and shorten the stance a little bit. Good. Bending through the front knee, let it track over the ankle, right thigh in, back and apart, reaching and extending the arms. And again, we have all these beautiful options today in our practice of where the arms want to go. Hands at heart. Maybe we just have them down by the sides of the body. Good. Or on the hips. Few more breaths. Beautiful. Left forearm, left thigh, right arm on the hip or up to the sky or over your ear to stretch. If you want to go more into your extended side angle, you can go ahead and grab the block or reach the fingertips down. You can also take the right hand to the hip, pressing the outer edge of the right foot this time into the mat. Let's see if we can use our back leg a little bit more. We don't want all the front leg working hard. We want to create this equal stance here through the body. Good. You're here for 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, return to center. Good. On the exhale, slide that right forearm parallel once again to the back body here, resting on the top of the pelvis and the hips. Reverse the left palm and slowly begin to curl back. Remember that the low body isn't shifting, it's not changing. Open up your heart. Feel good here in the heart space. Maybe you slide the right hand down the back of the thigh. If you notice you start to shift any of the weight to the back leg a little bit as you slide the hand down. Come back to center and slide the left forearm parallel to the back body. We're here for 3 more breaths in and out through the nose. Good. Inhale and return to center. On the exhale, straighten the legs. Bring the hands to the hips. Point all 10 of the toes towards the center of the mat. Good. And then heel toe the feet back in a little bit. Have your stance a little bit wider here. And then slowly bend at the knees. And we'll come all the way into Malasana or yogic squat. Now you've got blocks here. If a yogic squat does not feel attainable today and practice, that's okay. You can come up a little bit higher here. Good. You can stack as many blocks as you'd like to underneath the sit bones. We're going to press the elbows into the knees into the elbows, only here for about 2 more breaths. Finding length through the spine. Beautiful. On the exhale, release. Forward fold. Heel toe the feet back in. All right, that we're hanging out in the center of the mat. It doesn't matter. And eventually we'll walk the hands forward. So we're now facing the top of the mat. Good. And then find your last downward dog of practice here. Inhale forward, hands and knees. On the exhale, let the big toe mounds touch. Knees go wide apart. Melt the heart forward. Forehead can come down onto the block or the floor. You need a little extra love here. Maybe you unroll your blanket and you create a cylinder-like shape, rolling it the long way, actually. The longer, the better. And you're more than welcome to slide this where the tops of the feet go, the tops of the ankle goes and rests. Coming all the way into Balasana, your child's pose. Now, you're also welcome to lay flat onto the belly with the hands resting down onto the mat, forehead down, coming more into a crocodile-like shape. Good. We're here for about 4 to 5 more breaths. Starting to see if you can slow down the exhales. Slowing down the breath. And as you're ready, we'll slowly come all the way up. Back to our tabletop-like position. Drop the hips to the right as you gaze over the left shoulder. Inhaling, returning to center. Exhaling, dropping the hips to the left as you gaze over the right shoulder. And then continue rocking a little bit here. Side to side. Good. And then we'll make our way now all the way onto our backs. Planting your feet once again into the mat. Let's take the right foot and thread it between the left heel and the left glute. Now you can take your hand, your left hand, grab a hold of the foot and draw it closer towards the body as you let the right leg, the right knee float down towards the earth. If that is a little bit too much, then shift the foot a little bit more. Now you can stay as you are, or you can now hug the left knee in towards your chest. Now remember, it's all about feeling good. So we want to find a little bit in the body where we are pushing our limit just a little, but we also want to feel good as we're cooling the body down. So this is less active in the body. Beautiful. Let's slowly release, planting the feet into the ground, and just windshield wiper your knees side to side. And then returning to center here. We'll take this to the other side. So we're threading now the left foot between the right heel, the right glute. You can grab the foot if you like, bringing it closer to the body. Shoulders come in so the heart lifts. Let the left knee relax a little bit more towards the earth. Maybe you stay as you are, or maybe you hug your right knee into your chest. Reminding yourself that we're not symmetrical, that one side will be different than the other side. Just giving yourselves a little bit of love and grace here. And when you're ready, we'll slowly release, planting both the feet into the ground and windshield wiper knees once again side to side. One more pose here before we find our final pose. So planting the feet back into the ground, you get to decide how close together the feet are or how wide apart they are. Same with the arms. You get to decide if they're out in more like a T-like shape or a robot arm. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, send the knees over to the right. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder. Maybe you flex your bottom foot, your right foot, and place it just above the top knee. Or if you have a different variation of a supine twist that feels good in your body, take it now here, and then find the rhythm of your breath. And on the next inhale, slowly return to center. And on your exhale, find your knees now over to the left. Taking what you need here on this side of the body. And inhale, return to center. On your exhale, if it feels good, you can hook your knees into your chest. If we've missed something in our practice today that your body would like before we move into our Shavasana, you can take what you need. However, if you're ready for Shavasana, get as comfortable and as cozy as you would like. Maybe you find your blanket and you place it over the body, or maybe you use it as a little pillow. And if you've got blocks and want to feel like you're in a hammock, perhaps you slide the blocks underneath your calf muscles. Now, these are just merely suggestions. They're not must-haves. Please feel free to get in any other position that feels good for you. And then close down the eyes. And allow the back of the body to become heavy. And the front of the body light. Shavasana. The most important pose of practice. Allow the body and mind to fully integrate your yoga practice. Allow yourself this time of deep rest and relaxation. Shifting your body from a state of fight or flight to a deep restorative rest and digest. A time for letting go of your active thinking and allowing your mind to become quiet and present. Being with the sensations that arise and letting go of the thoughts that come and go. And slowly begin to deepen the breath, wiggling and moving, whatever wants to wiggle or move. Maybe you stretch the body if it feels good. And slowly hug your knees into your chest, rolling to your favorite side of your body. And just take a moment here, resting on this side of the body. Simply thanking yourself for practice. And reminding yourself that yoga is simply that, a practice. But each time we show up on our mat, it will be a whole different experience. And in the next few breaths, slowly begin to rise to a seat. Maybe the eyes stay closed. Maybe the gaze is soft. And as you arrive here in your seated position, see if you can align the head over the heart and the heart over the pelvis. If it feels good, bring the hands together at the heart space. People often come to yoga to become more strong, more flexible, more balanced. I hope that you leave your mat today feeling more strong in the mind and the heart, more flexible in the mind and the heart, and more balanced in the mind and the heart in your everyday life. Thank you so much, and namaste.